How we doing, everybody? How we doing? Today is Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. Just coming to you live to do a real estate lunch talk. We make ourselves available for any questions, concerns in regards to real estate or real estate investing. We're on here not too long, just, in case somebody's at lunch, looking for something to do at their lunch and has a question in regards to real estate. We try to make ourselves available to answer those questions and to also bring some information in regards to the market. Different articles we see, different things that we see going on, hear about. We try to make everybody aware of those things. So we're on here Mondays and Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Also Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. We do more of a focus on a certain topic on Monday evenings and Wednesday evenings. Mondays we focus in on the real estate note industry and business. On Wednesday, we will be focusing on IRAs and how you can use your IRA to invest. Now is the time to really try to use some of that money, some of that retirement money that you have to invest. And you can do it in a lot of different ways. So we try to bring information about that on Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. So if you want to join us later on tonight, we would appreciate it. Also tomorrow, Thursday, March 11th, we will have a in-person networking event. If anybody wants to come, it will be held at the Ashbrook Tavern in Scotch Plains. It's at the Ashbrook Golf Course in Scotch Plains, 1210 Raritan Avenue in Scotch Plains, 6 p.m. We'll probably be there till about 7:30. We still are using the COVID-19 protocols and safety measures. We are still practicing social distancing. This area, this restaurant is pretty wide open, so we can, still meet in person and still be safe. So if you're interested in that, please come by at about 6. They have food, they have a bar, a really nice place, overlooks the golf course. And then maybe tomorrow, because temperatures have been good, we may be able to be outside and be able to network, outside if it's not too chilly tomorrow. So we're expecting some, we're expecting some increased temperatures and things of that nature. So, come on out. If you are an investor already, be good to network with people. If you're thinking about getting into the market, either as a homeowner or investor, come out and maybe ask some questions and get some information. We'd love to talk to you and meet with you and help you out. So let's see what articles may have come out in the last couple of days that look pretty interesting. It says mortgage origination volume hits 15 record high. So people are still, the demand for real estate is still out there. I know a lot of people do have some issues with their property, because of COVID, because of, you just maybe want to move to a larger home, different area, whatever the case may be. So we do need more houses on the market. And there is a lot of demand out there. So, and like I said, we try to focus in on offering terms to buyers. Some of these buyers here who are getting qualified, so to speak, but are getting outbid on properties. There's a lot of demand still out there. So, we try to get properties on terms and then help some of these people who are being shut out of the market into homes. And then if you're somebody that, experienced some issues, don't have a lot of equity, this may be a great way to maximize the equity in your property. Somebody like us can come through. We can take over the property, cover your mortgage, cover your payment, all the responsibility on the property. And then what we can do is we work with some of these buyers as they're going through this mortgage process. Maybe they're not ready to buy a home right here today, but maybe within 6 months, maybe within a year, within 2 years, they'll be ready. And then during that time, your property will most likely gain equity. You'll be paying down the debt, or we'll be paying you to pay down the debt on the property, and then it'll get sold, and then you can maximize what you get for the property. You don't pay any real estate fees. You don't pay any maintenance on the property. No closing costs with us. We can close within about 2 weeks if need be. If you need some more time, we could do that as well. We can offer you some money too in order to take over your debt. We'd like to do it with no money down, but we'd like to be fair to everyone. So that's what we're doing, and trying to take advantage of these people that are putting in a lot of applications for mortgages, but when they go out, they are not able to purchase anything because there are 5, 6, 10 offers on the property that they're looking at. So properties are getting, bidded up, so to speak. So, there are a lot of deserving buyers out there, and we want to match them up. We want to help sellers, who have a house maybe free and clear, want to get maximum amount for it. We can work out certain terms with you, and then get the property cashed out, hopefully within a reasonable amount of time. So if you're in that situation as a seller, please reach out to us. We'd like to show you what we can do. We can, like I said, we can move quickly. We can move, according to what is best for you. So that's interesting to see that there's still a demand out there with everything going on. Let's see what else we see here. So it says uptick in labor market breeds consumer confidence. So that's a good thing. People are getting back to work. It says the latest Fannie Mae home purchase segment index, a measure of consumers' views and forward-looking expectation on housing conditions, declined in February by 1.2 points to 76.5 year over year. The HPSI, which is the Fannie Mae, that's the housing price segment index, is down 16 points. It says 4 of the HPSI 6 components fell month over month, including home buying conditions and household income components. Offsetting much of that decline, however, was increased optimism regarding job security, with consumers reporting a significantly more positive view of the labor market compared to January. So people are starting, looks like, to go back to work, and that is breeding some confidence when it comes to the housing industry. Hopefully that'll continue. As investors, this probably is good news for investors, and as well as homeowners who want to sell, because obviously if the market remains strong, you're looking at, selling your property at top dollar, if you do decide to put it on the market. So there is a good outlook coming, in terms of what people are seeing about the market and the job market itself. So those are good things. First-time home buyers shut out of affordability. And that kind of goes back to my point about if you are someone that has a certain issue with making the payment on a property, and you're considering possibly downsizing, maybe getting yourself an apartment or something like that, but you want to maximize the equity in your property, you have a good amount of people out here that could do that. They could definitely, buy your property at a certain point, over time, again, like we explained. So your debt is being paid down, and then when they purchase the property, obviously you're able to maximize the equity in the property at the time that they buy. So these people are getting shut out of the affordability because there's not a lot of supply on the market. So, a lot of people are doing the, holding on to the property, eventually probably going into bankruptcy. I just don't think that is a good strategy personally. I think that the negative sides of bankruptcy, are going to have longer effects when you can do something now and not be able to maximize equity, sell the home, and not have to go through bankruptcy. But a lot of people are probably going that route. They're just going to wait it out, file bankruptcy. If they, not making that payment, maybe they're saving the money that they were spending on that particular, on their mortgage. They're just going to save it, put it in the bank, whatever the case may be, and then file bankruptcy. And I just don't know if that is in my opinion, I don't think that that's a good plan, but, to each their own. There is a way to maybe exit these properties that are better for you and will be financially better for you as well, down the road. Bankruptcy is going to affect a lot of things that you can do. And if the market shifts, as a lot of people are predicting at some point, will correct, and you have a bankruptcy, are you going to be able to go and get a mortgage for a property? And if you do, you'll have to probably pay more for that property in terms of interest and money that you have to put down and things of that nature. So do the pros and cons of waiting this out, going into bankruptcy, is that really, is that when you consider all, the good and the bad of it, is it really the thing to do? When, like I said, you can do something in the meantime to maximize your equity, still get debt paid down, still get the tax benefits, things of that nature. Obviously, you may have to go downsize or go to an apartment or something like that. But is that a better option than, having to face bankruptcy and that being on your credit for 7 years and, all of the money that it will cost you in terms of interest and higher payments and things like that later? These are, what you have to weigh. And I think that personally there's a better way to do things because there are a lot of deserving buyers out there. And they're looking for properties now. And, but, people are using that particular strategy of just waiting it out and filing bankruptcy. I don't know if you saw one of my lunch talks before, maybe, a week or so ago. I was talking to a CPA, and that's what he was actually instructing. That's what he was instructing his client to do. So, I just don't know if that's the best thing to do, and I don't think it is. I think that there's, other things that can be done in the meantime. And again, it's not gonna probably be everything you want it to be, but a lot of times, you can't get everything that you want, but you can, make a better decision, make a decision that may work for you better in the long term. So, see what else here. 2.6 million homeowners are in forbearance. So again, this is something that we're definitely keeping an eye on. This is going to affect the market in terms of pricing. If these people or majority of the people do go into foreclosure, let's just say if it's half, obviously that's over 1 million people. So that's going to affect a lot of markets in terms of the value of properties. So that could cause a shift from a homeowner's perspective. And then obviously from an investor perspective, you'd be able to look for these deals, to pick up these houses and either fix them up or, keep them as rentals. So it says 2.6 million homeowners are in forbearance. Meantime, there was a drop of 2.94% and an uptick of 3 basis points in the share of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans that are in forbearance. Also tracking downward, Ginnie Mae loans in forbearance receded 7 basis points to 7.28%. Conversely, forbearance share for portfolio loans and private label securities spiked by 2 basis points to 9.05. The percentage of loans in forbearance for independent mortgage banks, the IMB servicers, declined 6 basis points. So looks like, some of these people may be getting back to work and coming off the forbearance. I don't know if it was that it came to the end, because again, this is only for mortgages that are government. The moratorium only extends for mortgages that are backed by the federal government. So, I don't think this really goes into detail. It just talks about that side of it, the federally backed mortgages, and are these people going back to work? Are these people starting to pick back up on their payments? Which is a good thing, but that's still a lot. 2.6 million. That's a significant amount. And these banks, a lot of times, and that's why we like notes as well, is because a lot of times what's probably going to happen is that the banks are going to sell these in pools. They're going to be, let's just say, like I said, if it was half, just above 1 million loans, they're going to pool those together in different packages and sell them into the secondary market. Now, obviously, if you have hundreds of millions of dollars, you probably can buy these. You probably can buy 5,000, 10,000, whatever amount of loans you can buy. But then some of those loans, these companies are not going to want, and then they're going to come down to a lower level investor, who obviously doesn't have hundreds of millions of dollars. They're going to, come down to a lower level. Whereas a note investor, you can pick these up, and probably a lot of these people are going to be willing to work with you to restructure these loans. And because of the discount that you buy them at, you're going to probably be able to put together some nice forbearance plans, help people out with their payments. And then that, hopefully, along with people getting back to work, hopefully that'll kind of come together. You're probably not going to see a whole lot of this just go into straight foreclosure. Obviously, a certain portion of this, but I think a smaller percentage personally. But a lot of this stuff is going to be packaged together and sold, from the big banks to some of these investment companies, REO type companies that have, millions and millions of dollars and can buy a lot of loans at once. And then those companies are kind of going to go through the inventory that they buy and, some of the stuff they're just not going to want to deal with, so to speak, and just try to sell off and make some money on it. And that's where it gets down to this level, our level here. So that's why we like notes in the future as a great investment. We talk about people using their retirement funds and getting that stuff ready to take advantage of these opportunities. These opportunities are out there right now. Whether it be performing or non-performing, there are opportunities out there right now. Some of these companies may be liquidating. Some of these note companies may be liquidating what they have on file in anticipation of the big banks selling off. So they'll have enough cash on hand so they can make some bigger purchases. So they, I think, may be in the process of, trying to sell off some things, get some cash on hand so they can then go buy. So there are some opportunities for people that, don't have, hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, who have smaller balance IRAs and smaller savings and smaller amounts to invest in. There are some opportunities out there, under, 50,000, under 25,000, $20,000 range, and maybe even less. So, we're trying to let people know about that, let them know that there is an opportunity to get involved on this side of it. You don't necessarily always have to be a fix and flipper, or have a rental property. You can get the same cash flow from the note side, a lot of times even more, because you don't have the same expenses. So we're trying to bring that information and talk to people about getting involved on this side of it and making these investments. And like I said, this article here is kind of telling me that there's going to be some more inventory, towards the end of this year, going into next year. And there's already inventory right now. So it is a chance to kind of take advantage of what's going on in more ways than just, fix and flipping and things of that nature. So, I hope that this information, if you're watching this on the replay, I hope that it makes sense and gives you something to at least think about. If you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, please type it in or, reach out. Telephone number is 973-475-8488. The email is acg@Abundance Capital Group. And I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at Abundant Capital Group. So some breaking news just came through. I wish I had a little machine. Senate confirms Marcia Fudge as the HUD secretary. So I'll kind of go through this article really quickly as my last article. She is an African-American woman. The Senate today confirmed Marcia Fudge as HUD secretary. Let's see. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer yesterday prepared a procedural cloture motion vote in order to wrap up the Fudge confirmation. Politico first reported. The Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs last month voted 17-7 in favor of Marcia Fudge's nomination. Opponents. Some opponents of Fudge's confirmation include Pat Toomey, obviously a Republican, who says she was one of the least bipartisan members of Congress and that she lacks experience in housing policy. We had Donald Trump as the president. Enough said in terms of having experience. See if it talks about her background at all. So after Fudge's nomination hearing, it is clear that she is the ideal candidate to serve as the HUD secretary at this moment in history. Lisa Rice, president and CEO of the National Fair Housing Alliance, said, with over 4 million instances of housing discrimination each year and increases in housing-related hate crimes over the past several years, we are eager to work with the Biden-Harris administration and Secretary designate Fudge to make fair housing a reality to everyone and advance racial equality. And advance racial equity. So, as minorities and African Americans, you might want to look at, some of the policies that are going to come out of HUD now. There may be some opportunities to take advantage of as first-time home buyers for, minority people. Again, we have the demand out there. That's probably going to increase. And then with the last article that I said, with all these homes being in forbearance, once they go through that process and whatever happens with them, whether they get sold off as notes to investors or if they go into foreclosure, there are two things that kind of go together at that point. You're going to have some good properties to buy, most likely. And then you're going to have these, most likely, we'll see if they implement some policies that assist minority participation in housing. You could see those two things come together. So, getting involved in this real estate thing is, as an investor right now, is probably a good thing, especially when we're talking about doing notes, or if you're creating notes on properties. If you have free and clear properties, if you have maybe a lot of equity in a property, you can maximize the equity in a property, over time, just collecting payments, as opposed to maybe taking it all out and, the tax hit and everything like that. Maybe you can leverage it. So it all depends on your situation. So this is good news. Hopefully, like I said, she'll put some things in place to get more minority participation in housing, because housing a lot of times is the basis of wealth, and there is a wealth gap in this country. So those are just a few articles that I saw that I thought were interesting, and so take from it what you may, depending on what side you're on. Again, if you want to talk, have a conversation, if you have a situation, if you're an investor, you have a property, and you'd like to, talk about it, see what can be done. We're here to kind of share what we know, maybe give you some different things to think about. So, if you do see this on a replay, if you could share it, I'd appreciate it. If you're not in the market right now or not thinking about investing in real estate, but know somebody that is, we would love it if you shared it with them. Again, if anyone reaches out, looking to do a deal or something becomes of this referral, please let them, have them tell me your name, and we'll definitely make sure that we get some type of referral gift out to you, because we really appreciate that. So again, acg@abundantcapitalgroup.com. That's the email. Telephone number 973-475-8488. And social media, I'm at Abundant Capital Group on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. So with that being said, everybody have a good night. If you want to come back and join me, 8 p.m. tonight, we'll be talking about IRAs and different ways you can use your IRA, why you would want to use your IRA. There's a lot of different things that you can do within real estate with your IRA, especially if you have a smaller balance IRA. Really trying to get to, open people's minds up that have smaller amount IRAs so they can grow them faster and more securely with real estate. So if you or somebody has an IRA, a small balance IRA, please catch me tonight at 8 p.m. If you have any questions, and we'll talk about that a little bit. So everybody have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later on today. If I don't see you later on tonight, I'll be back Friday at 1 p.m. Peace.